As you can tell, I'm excited about Sages. I'm excited about its impact. I'm excited about seeing people born again. I'm excited about the body of Christ growing and people making it to heaven who otherwise would not. I want to talk with you about 10 thou shalt nots of Sages ministry. Whatever the name of your group, these thou shalt nots apply to that group as well. These edicts didn't come from the mountain of the Lord. They come as a result of a bit of research about concerns that those of the sage age have. It's interesting that in every season, every stage of life, there are things that people don't like. When our youngest son, Chris, was about 12, we were visiting my parents. And my mother is very careful. I've teased her through the years about being OCD in regard to cleanliness around the house. But on this particular visit, for whatever reason, she brought 12-year-old Chris his soda in a sippy cup designed for a toddler. Well, Chris wasn't happy about that. He's a very gregarious, outgoing kid, and he didn't say anything to his Nana, but as soon as Norma and I got in the car, we heard about it, that why was she giving him a sippy cup? He was 12 years old, and I agreed with him. I'd have felt the same way if I were in that situation too. I've learned that if I speak to a teenager like they're 9 years old, communication just shut down. It's over because they feel themselves to be closer to an adult than they are to 9, and in reality they are. I finally learned, I think I've learned anyway, to have conversations with teens as though I were talking to people who are already adults. So likes and dislikes are cultural. They can be age-related. I was at a large event that focused on a particular ethnic ministry, and a preacher there, a prominent man, good man, he was just having a bad day in his thought process. He spoke of that culture as always being ready to dance. And I'm sitting on the platform. It did not go well. It got quieter and quieter. And unfortunately, he didn't sense what was happening and just kind of kept blundering deeper and deeper into that mud hole. Okay, so with that kind of as a preface, 10 thou shalt nots of dealing with people who are 55 and up. I do realize that generalization is dangerous, but there are some things that we don't like. We don't like it from each other, and we don't like it from pastor. We don't like it from anybody else. Thou shalt not use the words elder, senior, old, old-timer, geezer, etc. Do not name your ministry the senior such and such ministry or the elder such and such ministry. If you do, a significant part of that group, those who are 55 to about 67 or 70, they are not coming. And they may not come after that. I'm several years beyond 55, but I don't see myself as old and don't want to be reminded that there are some people who might think of me as old. Thou shalt not use the words senior, elder, old-timer, old, geezer, or any of the others. Second, thou shalt not develop a ministry to me. Instead, facilitate me doing ministry. Those are the sage age. You've heard several of us say it. We want to do meaningful things for God, and they won't participate if the focus seems to be in giving old people something to do. thou shalt not make this ministry event driven. If the sum of your ministry is, this is what we're going to do next month, this is where we're going to go next month, I'm not going to come. Fourth, thou shalt not treat all sages alike. There are several distinct groups in sages, and you can talk about it in a number of ways, I'm sure. But a good way to remember it is this. Some of the sages in your group are go-go group. That's where Norm and I fit in. And if you imagine the two of us being satisfied with dominoes and pitching horseshoes, you got another thing coming. We may make it once, we'll leave early, and we won't be back the second time if we sense that that's what's going to happen again. The go-go group. We want to do something that matters. The second group is the slow-go group. They want to do, but they've slowed down. From your leadership vantage point, you have to minister to all three of these groups. So with the slow-go group, be patient. You're going to get there someday yourself. Accept the fact that you can't move quite as quickly with this group, that if you take this group to some event, there will be people who need help getting in and out, that wheelchairs may need to be pushed, and some other things. And then the third group is the no-go group. And these are homebound, they're in assisted living, they're in nursing homes. And your ministry plan has to include serving them as well. It may be having someone visit the facility at a time when church is happening and just put the church service on an iPad and let them watch service, even though that they cannot be present. It may be someone going and celebrating communion with them. Opportunities abound to serve the no-go group and to allow them to serve us. One of the things that I do with the no-goes, yes, I pray with them, but I also always have those people pray for me, and I stand mute while I put my hand in theirs and let them talk to Jesus on behalf of their pastor. That matters. Okay? Fifth, thou shalt not. Thou shalt not develop a silo ministry. Silo ministry has been talked about and will be talked about in other videos. Silo is where that things are kept separate. I don't want to be part of a ministry that is age segregated. Younger people keep me mentally young. Rather than limiting interaction, why not develop intentional ways to allow me to connect to young people who might benefit from some things I've experienced in life? Six, thou shalt not. Thou shalt not fail to hear my story and give it value. Further, if at all possible, connect me with people who will benefit from my story. 7, thou shalt not fail to say thank you and give appreciation for my past service, though I'm no longer able to do the things I once did. 8, thou shalt not presume that because my hair is gone or gray and that I move with a slower pace, that I no longer want to serve. As long as there's breath in my body, I want to do. Thou shalt not, number 9. Don't imagine that because I seem to be in good health, I'm not lonely, depressed, anxious, or spiritually depleted. We still struggle. your sages still struggle. They've fought a lot of battles. They've won many of them. But you need to be alongside, and you need to be very sensitive to the fact that even when it looks like all is well, there will be times when it's not quite so good. And then finally, thou shalt not tell elder jokes and share memes poking fun at older people. I already struggled to feel valuable. Some societies are talking about killing us off when we get to a certain age. Those teasing put-downs that I laugh at leave bruises and scars within. Don't do it. Here's the thing, little things matter. Don't ignore any of the 10 thou shalt nots, because if you do, you will have hindered your own ministry.